Hi, welcome to CNY Woman Knits and Crochets. I am Mindy, your hostess, otherwise known as Knitter CNY on Ravelry and Instagram. Tonight is going to be a whip session. I am working on a ripple baby blanket out of Bernat baby blanket. This color is called Little Sandcastles. I am under an overhead light, so if the color's a little off, that's why. It's nighttime. I thought I would record and talk to you guys. It's been a while since I've done a whip session. I'm going to try and hold up my project as I go. As you can see, I've got yarn behind me. That's one bookcase. I have another bookcase there. I did empty out a tote this week. So out of 13 totes, now I have 12 totes full of yarn. And I did place a small Joann's order this morning because they sent me a coupon for 25% off and free shipping. So I was like, guess I'm going to place a small order, and I did. I ordered two cakes of Colorama Halo and one sock yarn Sock Star, because Sock Star was $3.99 on sale and it was $2.99 with a coupon. I have to count with this. I have to count. It is a free Yarnspirations pattern. I've linked to it in the past, so you can check that out if you're interested. It's a really super easy, you repeat row 2. You do a setup row with skipping 1 stitch at the bottom of the valley and doing 3 stitches at the top, and then when you go to the next row you skip 2 stitches in the valley and do 3 stitches in the top, and then you do 6 single crochet in between in the back loop. You always do in the back loop with this pattern. You use a size L crochet hook. It's super easy. If I think of it, I will try and link the pattern in the notes, but it's really super easy. I've started on another tote. The first one was from my bedroom, so I finished that one, and then I started on a tote that is in my living room because I had 2 skeins of this to make a blanket. Most of my other skeins of Bernat blanket and Bernat baby blanket are in skeins of 4 to make a grade school or teenager size blanket. I've got a lot of Bernat blanket. I don't know how much I have. Probably enough for at least 20 blankets, I could guess. Maybe more than that, because apparently I bought a lot of yarn last year. Last year was going to be a no buying yarn year. It was not. This year was going to be a no buying yarn year. It is not. But I am using my yarn up. This new stuff I'm getting small orders, very small orders, and I'm not buying any more Bernat blanket because I have a ton of that. So I have all different colors, all different types. A lot of it's variegated. Some I got from Mary Maxim's, some I got from Joann's. I think I even got some from Kirshner's. I think I bought some from Walmart too and Amazon. Whenever there was a good deal, I got it. I know I got some from Ollie's that I've already worked up into blankets. there's no yarn on sale this week at Ollie's. I already checked the circular. So the yarn for Joann's Bernat blanket this week is $8.99, which is kind of a high price, but then if you order online and pick up in store, you get 20% off. So that brings it down a little bit. I think about $7 is a good deal for Walmart for Bernat blanket. Ollie's, of course, sells it for $4.99 a skein when they have it. And when they have it, everybody goes, we gotta go. We gotta go to Ollie's. I remember the first time they ever did a Bernat blanket thing. It was a couple of years ago, and they had it in store. Of course, you can't buy anything online at Ollie's. It's all in store because they're a discount store. And it was just crazy because I bought quite a bit of Bernat blanket at Ollie's because I couldn't pass up the prices. You know, I mean, you're paying like a third of the price that you would normally pay for it. And yarn has gone up, and yarn will continue to go up in price. That's another reason why I'm using my stash, because the stuff from China, which a lot of Bernat blanket is made in China, is going to have rising prices because of the tariffs that are being put on it. It's difficult sometimes to find Bernat blanket in other stores. I think Walmart has really upped their yarn game. I've noticed that in my local Walmart, one of them has a pitiful yarn selection. The other one all of a sudden has a really good yarn selection. And then there's one farther out that he has an even better yarn selection. But I think what they're doing is they're testing the waters because they have stock, they have the ability to get stuff and get it at reasonable prices. Now they sell their Bernat blanket anywhere from $6.97 for certain colors like Raspberry Kisses and Blue Green are $6.97, but most of the colors are $9.98. That's their standard price on them for different colors. And they also have their own brand of chenille yarn that is blanket yarn that has the same specs as Bernat blanket. I bought some. I haven't used it. It is somewhere in the stash. I don't know where it is, but I have bought a 4-pack, and at the time that I bought it, it was $21.97. So you can look for that. I can't remember what it was called, but it does have 220 yards per skein. So if you check out Walmart, you can probably find it. And it was shipped. It was when I was buying my groceries with pickup at Walmart. And now I'm not doing that because I'm not even spending $35 on groceries per week. I have my staples that I have to get. Cottage cheese, yogurt, cheese. I get high protein shakes, but I get those usually through Amazon when they're a good price, or I'll get them at BJ's Wholesale Club. I don't eat a lot anymore because if you're new to the channel, I had bariatric surgery in September. Since January of last year, so January of 2024, I had my first appointment with a bariatric surgeon. From the time in that January until I had surgery, I had lost 50 pounds. Since surgery, I've lost another 35 pounds, so I've lost 85 pounds total since last year. I will continue to lose weight, assuming I continue the diet, high protein diet, and, lots of water, lots of liquid. So I had just had my 3-month appointment a little while ago. I made my 6-month appointment. That won't be for several months yet, but it's been an eye-opening experience. I don't have as many problems as I did. My blood pressure medicine has decreased to the lowest level that it is, and I have a doctor's appointment with my regular physician on Monday, so I may be off the blood pressure medicine entirely. I may get off the statin that I take once a day at night. That was just a preventative measure, basically. It depends on how he looks at some blood work that I had. He may want to repeat the blood work and see how that goes. So we'll see how that goes. I'm sorry I'm not looking at you. I have to look at my crochet when I am working on it. I cannot feel for my stitches. Today was a weird weather day. We had freezing rain. We had a snowstorm this morning that closed schools because it was going to be freezing rain and a weird snowstorm most of the day. So first they did delays for a couple hours, then they finally just closed the schools. We're supposed to get more snow and drizzle tomorrow, which is very exciting for getting up at 5:45 or 6 o'clock in the morning and then driving to work. I have to be at work at my new job at 7:30 in the morning, and then I work until about 4 in the afternoon. So it's nice that I get out at 4 because it's still daylight. I get home, I make myself some dinner, I crochet, and then I crash. That's typically what I do. I watch a lot of YouTube videos. I watch science fiction a lot. I watch old Doctor Who a lot. Classic Doctor Who is what they call it now. I watch the new episodes with the new doctors and stuff like that. I'm rewatching some of the specials that are on Disney Plus because the new season supposedly, I think they said it's coming in April, which would be good. One looks forward to spring and new Doctor Who episodes. That would be excellent. 2, 3. Let's see, what else can we talk about? Just working on stuff, trying to get stuff done. 1, 2, 3. I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I need one more stitch. I get talking and I lose my count, although I only have to count to 6, which you wouldn't think that would be that hard, but it is sometimes. I am going to a Super Bowl party this weekend. A high school friend of mine hosts a Super Bowl party every year. It's only over the bridge in the next county. I live in a northern suburb of my county, and then the county line is the river and the lake, and then you go over the bridge, and his house is just over the bridge on the other side of the river. I can see the river from my house. I'm not on the river, so I don't pay those waterfront taxes, but I get a nice view of the river through somebody else's yard at the end of the street. And in the summertime, when I want to go, well, springtime and fall time, when it's not beach season and you don't have to pay an admission fee to park your car at the beach, then I go over, and sometimes when I was unemployed, I would go crochet at the beach because it was easy. There was a park bench there that I could unwind at for about an hour, and you know, people walk their dogs or they take walks through the park. There's a playground there for the kids, so that's kind of nice. They have fun there. 2, 3, 4. Things I am planning to do in the future. More blankets. In case you wonder and you're new to the channel, I crochet blankets for Project Linus, which gives blankets to children. There is a local chapter in my area. My chapter coordinator has taken some time off. She was having surgery, so she's taking off until March. I have filled in my time making blankets, so she will be getting blankets from me. I don't know if she will expect this many blankets from me, because I have probably done 8 blankets since the beginning of the year. Now this is counting baby blankets, and I started work on January 6th. I had 3 blankets that were holdovers from December that I finished in January. But I am averaging at least 2 blankets a week. I do a larger blanket, and then I'll try and do a smaller baby size blanket during the week. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And it's easier to do with Bernat blanket, frankly. I'm using a size L hook on this, which I believe is a 7mm hook. If you are in Canada or in anywhere else in the world where they don't use letters for the American system for hook sizes, pretty much everybody uses millimeters. Yeah, I think it's a 7mm. And I'm using a Prim ergonomic hook. I have a set of those. I have a small set and I have a large set. I also have ergonomic hooks that are boy ergonomic hooks that I like too. I use a K from that for my corner to corner baby blankets in bulky yarn. I really like the Colorama Halo. I will be using that again. That's why I kind of bought some. I did buy some of that. I like it. And I have a feeling, you know, they'll probably discontinue that after a while. They tend to do that with yarn that I like. They'll be like, no, we don't need to make it anymore. You know, just when you get used to something, they change it up. Joann's, of course. I've seen a couple of videos that their auction and their sellers and buyers and all the crazy things that are going on is actually happening more in February, so things will shake out pretty soon. We'll know more of what's going on. I'm sure there'll be coverage in the press. So if you're a fan of Joann's, keep an eye on your press, because that'll tell you what's going on. whether or not they are bought out by somebody else, which frankly, I can't see $500 million in debt being bought out by anybody. You know, I mean, how much are you going to pay for 800 stores? And then you've got an online presence too. I mean, who's got $500 million to go buy Joann's? You know, I don't know what they're going to ask for it, but more than likely it'll be liquidated by somebody, I have a feeling. I mean, which is terrible, but you know, they tried to restructure it, kind of worked. They decreased their debt, but they were so much in debt that I think there was no way of getting around it. You have the physical costs of the store, and then you have the physical costs of running warehouses all across the United States. Distribution centers is what they call them. So it's not like a Walmart. A Walmart has logistics down to a science, where they know that an item is selling in a store. You know, if there's a snowstorm coming, we stock more shovels and chips and milk and bread, you know, things like that. They know, they predict what is going to be sold in the stores based on what's going on. And I think Joann's got into a lot of stuff in their stores, and I've heard this comment from other people too. Joanne started stocking a lot of home decor type stuff, and home decor is one of those things that is very seasonal, and they always seem to mark it down, and I think it was like a loss leader for them. A loss leader, if you're not familiar with that term, is something to draw you into the store because it's a low price, with the hopes that while you're there, you're going to buy something else. Back in the day, a grocery store would put certain things on sale for a good price, like milk, something that everybody buys, unless you're lactose intolerant, then you don't buy milk. But maybe a lot of people buy milk. So they would put milk on sale. I can remember as a kid, milk being on sale for a good price. Or there would be a good special 1 week on ground chuck that you could buy hamburger. And my mom would buy when there were loss leaders. Her father ran a store, so that's where I heard the term from, was from her. It might be something that the store might take a loss on in the short term if you were only counting that one item, but it made up for by the sale of other items while the person was there. Like, there might be a good price on milk 1 week, but maybe not on the cereal. Something along those lines. And of course, you know, you can say, you know, we're going to take a hit on our home decor items. We're going to mark them 50% off this week. So that's our loss leader item. And everybody comes in and buys that particular thing. They do it with yarn a lot with Joann's. There's always a yarn sale at Joann's. Have you noticed that? I don't think the yarn has been regular price since the beginning of the year, except for like 1 week. And it's like one of those things where the new yarn came out like the Vortex yarn, when that came out, that was $2.99 a skein on sale. That was when I first saw it. Now it's up to $3.49. They've edged it up by 50 cents. But it's still really on sale. You never ever pay retail price for yarn. The only place where you pay retail price for yarn is Walmart, because Walmart is able to negotiate a lower price for their yarn because they have the buying power to do so. They're able to put certain yarns on sale. Like Mandala this week at Joann's is $7.12 a skein on sale. That same skein of Mandala at Walmart is $5.97. It's always $5.97. The puzzle yarn at I believe puzzle yarn is now retailing for $8.99, $7.99 to $8.99 a skein through Premier Yarn. Somebody can correct me on that price if they know what the current price is. At Walmart, if they sell the color of puzzle in the store, it's $5.98 a skein. They are able to negotiate a lower price because of their buying power. Because there's a Walmart practically in every town, and a lot of places now there's no grocery stores. I know where our Walmart is. We have a small grocery store in one town where a Walmart is. We have one grocery store in the other town where our Walmart is. And then there is no grocery store in the Walmart where I used to go to school. Just in the next county. So, you know, you're kind of stuck there. Everybody's going in for groceries. Usually nobody goes into Walmart just to buy yarn. They're there to buy other stuff. You go to Walmart to buy everything. So you're able to get lower prices on stuff. I'm not upset about Walmart having a better yarn selection if Joann's is going to go out of business, and not having coupons. You know, I might pay more for a certain type of yarn, but I'm also going to avoid certain types of yarn. Like, I know that the Lion Brand Cover Story has been a yarn that they started to carry at my Walmart in one of my neighboring communities, about 10 minutes from my house. It's actually quite near Joann's. Joann's used to carry Cover Story yarn. They don't anymore. They used to retail for about $36. They would have it on sale occasionally. Walmart sells Cover Story yarn, the big wheel of Cover Story yarn that's over 500 yards of a 6 super bulky blanket yarn for $24.97. They have very limited colors. They also stock a lot of Red Heart Super Saver because a lot of people use Red Heart Super Saver. They have their own brand of yarn. They have the Mainstays yarn. That's a very reasonable price. I think it's like $2.98 a skein or something like that for the smaller skein. And a Red Heart skein might be more than $3. I don't know what Red Heart goes for in Walmart because I don't usually use Red Heart Super Saver, to be honest with you. I have some Bitty Stripes that's right across the room that I bought from Joann's. I have some All-in-One Granny that I bought from Joann's as well. I bought a lot of yarn from Joann's over the past year. So you gotta look for the deals when you can get them. If you have a stash, you can definitely use your stash, especially if you're charity knitting or crocheting. You may want to use your stash because, like I said, the price of yarn is going to go up. And there's nothing saying that you can't buy yarn, if you find a good deal. I would shop the Hobby Lobby clearance sale. One year that was June. Last year, I think it was in March. So keep an eye out because they also sold that company last year. He gave it away to like an advisory board or something. There's somebody else that runs the company now from when the founders ran it. But it's people that have similar beliefs to the original founders of the store, like Hobby Lobby, Chick-fil-A, closed on Sundays. It's a day of worship. It's a day with family. That's how they choose to run their business, and it works for them because they're making money. The doors of Hobby Lobby are not closed. The doors of Chick-fil-A are not closed. There's a line around Chick-fil-A every night when I go through. Anytime I've gone through Chick-fil-A, there's always a line unless it's like 4 o'clock in the afternoon and it's not dinner time. If it's dinner time, there's a line around Chick-fil-A and it's funny because our Chick-fil-A, we have 2 of them. One is right next to a Starbucks, which is hilarious to me because Starbucks has a line and so does Chick-fil-A. I don't eat either place really because I can't eat that much anymore and I'm mostly eating high protein stuff anyways. I would go before I had surgery. Before I was really watching my diet, I would go to Chick-fil-A occasionally. I hope that doesn't make me a bad person. I don't agree with whatever stance they had at some point with the gay and lesbian community. And that includes all the other letters of the alphabet that cover whatever spectrum of labeling identity you choose to identify yourself as. I'm speaking very broadly here. So I don't eat at Chick-fil-A anymore. There are people who are morally opposed to going to Hobby Lobby because their stance with their employees about contraception and what was covered under their health insurance policy and other, because of the religious views of their people. They play religious music in the store. It's religious music, but it's religious music. You go in and you hear, harp music to Amazing Grace, and that is not everybody's cup of tea. So, whatever. Some people don't buy out of Amazon for the same reason or they don't shop at Walmart for a particular thing because they don't want to support a huge business that is almost like a monopoly. And they choose to spend their dollars. Like a lot of people choose to spend their money in a local yarn store with high quality wool or cotton yarn. that doesn't usually stock acrylics like a big box store is. I have used both wool and acrylic. I tend to use acrylic and polyester for charity knits because they are machine washable and dryable. A kid in a hospital does not want, a parent of a child who is in a hospital does not want a wool yarned thing for their child that they have to hand wash. That is not what they're looking for. They want something they can put in the machine wash and dry. So that's what I use. I tend to use the puzzle yarn because it's Okotex standard. I might be mispronouncing that. They tested against harmful substances. I use the blanket yarn because it is very soft. It works up very quickly, so I can get stuff done. It's relatively inexpensive, and it is machine washable and dryable. So that's good. I've kind of expanded here. I usually don't talk about all this kind of stuff, but I thought it might be interesting. It's just where my train of thought led me tonight. I hope that you are doing well. Like I said, I'm going to a Super Bowl party this weekend. I'm getting a ride from a friend. Even though it's just over the river and I could drive myself, I will probably, because I like to go with friends, good friends of mine that are going to the party too. It's a family friendly party too. You know, there are alcoholic drinks available. I will not be drinking alcohol because after bariatric surgery, you can't have an alcoholic drink at least for a year after surgery, because you could get drunk off a half a glass of wine, or that's what the doctor tells me. They said absolutely no drinking for a year after surgery. They said it's very common, not common, but there are people that fall victim to becoming alcoholics because they can no longer cope with they can no longer use food as a coping mechanism. You know, you can't have comfort food because you can't overeat on something or you get physically ill because your stomach just is too small to handle that. And so you basically do, you can become dependent on alcohol. So they don't want you to become dependent. So that's why they say don't drink, which I'm fine with. I didn't really drink before. The most we did was go on a wine tour and do some wine tasting. And then we would buy 1 bottle or 2 bottles of wine and have them over a weekend with a couple other people with dinner. We might have 2 glasses of wine, you know, and that was because it was from the wine tour. So that's why I tend, so my parents didn't drink when I was growing up because they were both on medications where they could not drink. So we did not have alcohol around the house. So that's why I don't drink. And my grandmother, one of my grandmothers was a member of the Temperance League because of people in her family in the past who had been alcoholics. So I know that was just the way it was in my family. Although I don't mind, and I don't begrudge somebody having a beer. You know, it's a Super Bowl party. have a couple of beers. You're at somebody's house. You're going to be there for hours. You know, I do get upset if somebody is like blotto out of their mind and then decides to get behind the wheel of a car. Then I got a real problem with you. That there is no excuse for. If you want to get blotto, have your Uber ready. You know, have your designated driver ready to take you home. That's where I, you know, or when it interferes with your family, or when it interferes with your job. You know, you can't go on the job and perform. You can't, you know, function without the alcohol. When you have a problem, that's the problem, as they say. Like, I had a problem with food, so I did something drastic. I had bariatric surgery so I wouldn't have a problem with food anymore. I am still a plus size person, but I am a smaller plus size person than I was last year. We're going on 41 minutes that I have pontificated on, and if you have watched until now, you're probably bored out of your mind and think she's the most serious person in the entire world, talking about yarn prices and loss leaders and all this kind of stuff. But if you've watched until the end, I made more progress. I have this much yarn left, and I'll probably get this blanket done tomorrow night and then start another blanket. I have yarn waiting for me in the tote that's in the dining room right behind this camera. I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 totes right out here in my living room, or my dining room, pardon me. So until next time, I hope you knit or crochet something this week because it is good for your mental health. As always, leave me a comment below of what project you are working on, and I hope you enjoyed our time together.